Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti, and if you don't know, I'm the face, the voice, and the hands behind all the content here under Infiniti Crafting Co. and behind the website InfinityCraftingCompany.com. Today I am here with Channel Chat 136, kind of. Today I'll be answering community questions and just, I guess kind of doing a mega episode. I don't know. I do have more than one pot for today. I was supposed to come on last Wednesday, and I thought I was recovering from this condition that I tend to deal with, and then it went south after I went to a doctor and got a medicine they prescribed me. It actually made it a lot worse, and I was like bedridden until basically late Friday night. So I'm glad to be back in the studio here, not feeling like death incarnate. Let's see, what was I gonna say for today? I did finish eventually the back panel, casting off the back panel for my Fresh Peaks sweater vest. So that's exciting, and I started on the front. I think I'm posting this on Monday, so today is the first day of classes. Yay! I'm actually really excited to get back into the ceramic studio because I have some ideas I want to play with, and then I might have mentioned a few weeks ago, I had somebody to contact me through the website and give me a really good recommendation for something to experiment with in the studio. So once I get a prototype going, I look forward to sharing that with you all, and hopefully it's something quirky enough that y'all will want to support. But yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever creative limits or lack thereof I will have this go around, and really just make my last couple of semesters of ceramics just special. So alright, I have coffee because I'm recording this during the morning time with hopes of having this up by the evening time, but we all know how my computer does, so we'll see. Let's see, what else is there to update y'all on? I did manage to get the Mountain Forager shrug out there on the members club, so that's there. And then I got part way through the Genesis top before I went out of commission last week, so I will be working on getting the Genesis top uploaded for you guys to follow along to under the members club this week. I'm also going to be working on, probably towards the later end of August, we're already almost at the end, it's 10 days left, who am I kidding, but between like the end of August and the very beginning of September, I'm planning on having the forum up so that members can, I think, be able to make their own categories and things like that, or at least I can make some general categories and y'all can conversate about patterns and such under there, which will be really cool once I get that fleshed out. Alright, so last week's question on Wednesday was from Lindsay, and she asked me, geez, let me go look at it. I know she asked me what are some of the worst yarns I've worked with and what made them bad. I'm gonna have to trust my memory on that because my laptop's lagging. Look, everybody has their own 2 cents about what a good yarn is and what a bad yarn is. And for the most part, I think that a lot of that could just be chalked up to personal preference. For me personally, there have been very few yarns that I have just given the ick to, okay? I happen to like a wide variety of things when I'm working, of course, in studio, as you guys have seen over the years. I have to say I am kind of weird texturally, and believe it or not, I actually don't like working with cotton yarn. Might come as a shock, right? And I don't know what it was, but when I first started working with it, I could feel sensation in my nails, no matter how short they are or long they are. I could just feel the sensation in my nails, and then I would subsequently feel the sensation in my bottom teeth. And it's so weird to explain that to people, but I just did not like it. And nowadays I use this metal hook that's pretty solid, and when I'm working with the cotton yarn, and now I can deal with it. And it was kind of the same deal with chenille yarns. I still don't really work with chenille yarns just because I don't design anything that would call for them. But hear me out. Mark my words. I'm saying this now, but probably next year I will find a chenille yarn, fall in love with it, and start designing a bunch of fluffy stuff, and y'all are gonna recall this video and talk about me really bad. But just because I don't like working with a yarn doesn't make it bad. Now there are some yarns that are just god awful. Some yarns are like furry, fluffy yarns, but they shed. Like, it's not like wool. It's just like faux fur, but it sheds like a cat. And, you know, I'd rather deal with the cat hair. So I don't necessarily like those types of yarns. Now there are some that are made better quality that I can kind of see maybe working with, but if I'm gonna go through all that, I kind of rather work with a really fluffy chenille yarn if I can get it in the right texture for what I'm working on. I talked about the yarn that I learned how to knit with, and to save my life, I don't remember exactly what it is. I don't even think they make it anymore, but it was definitely a Bernat yarn. And it was pink, variegated, and it was like, I don't know if the core of the yarn itself was corded, but they decided to make the poor life choice of incorporating fuzz into this yarn. So it was not only corded, but it was fuzzy, and it was scratchy. And I don't remember if it was something for home decor or no, because I think it had a pattern for some kind of wearable on it. So, like, I don't know what was going through their head at that point, but that was just awful texturally and awful visually to work with. Now, people have complained about eyelash yarns, and me being me, I did experiment with eyelash yarn, and I actually like it. So back in the day when I started crocheting, eBay was a cool place to order stuff in bulk and get it perhaps from overseas, but nonetheless you got it in bulk. And so I think it was this Chinese shop or something that I got this eyelash yarn from, and I to this day loved the texture of it. And I feel like I have the whip still laying around here somewhere because I started just knitting a garter stitch scarf out of it. Oh my gosh, it was the softest thing that I could have ever dreamed of, and it didn't shed, and it wasn't really that awful to see. It was like this very beautiful burgundy. But that's not really an awful yarn. But a lot of people hate eyelash yarns because they are or can be difficult to see. I can definitely see the argument for that, and some yarns I have seen over the years in the yarn store that have had that eyelash quality, I've just been like, nah, because it's a look to yarn that you have to kind of gauge for yourself. Sometimes, like, some people like the loopy weird yarn. I don't. I just look at it and I'm like, that is cringy. It's just gonna feel cringy. Eyelash yarn isn't actually one of my icks for the most part. At least none of the eyelash yarn that I have worked with. Now I'm sure, or to pick something up today, it would be kind of bad, but you know, not today. Now I can say there has been one yarn that I bought simply because it was there. It was from the Dollar Tree, kind of when the Dollar Tree first started experimenting with putting out yarn. We bought it, and it exists, and then promptly after we bought it and it existed, it stopped existing. They discontinued it. I don't know the purpose for this, and over the years I've tried to think of ways to use this out of my stash. Tried to get myself to maybe create a boa or something, but I'm not that extravagant when it comes to my accessories. Like, I'll sit up and wear the Hold Me Tight shawl all day long, but I don't really find a purpose for this kind of thing, right? So it kind of looks like, okay, it looks like fake eyelashes. I think it's called boa yarn. Let me see, let me find one with a label on it. Oh my god, it's a Bernat yarn. Oh my gosh. Okay, all of my epic fail yarns have come from Bernat. It's not Bernat. I do like some Bernat yarns. I haven't worked with it in some years. Just kind of phased out of my stash. But Bernat boa yarn, right? It looks like a long string of fake eyelashes, which to each their own on that. But it's just weird because, you know, what? What is the purpose? Now, I understand that some people, I guess, made hats out of it. They have a pattern for hats on the label. Some people make scarves with it. I thought about making a cardigan and using this stuff as a trim, but after it went discontinued, I'm like, there is no point in me doing that to myself. So I still have this stuff. I have like, oh my god. I have, let me see, that's 2, 3, 4, 5 balls of this stuff that I have yet to use. And will probably never use. This will just be a testament to my glory days when I first kind of started being yarn obsessive, I guess, because why? Why did I buy this? But I guess, you know, back in the day when things were just $1 at the Dollar Tree, go figure, you know, I figured $5, why not? Ew, it's still sitting in my stash. And then there was this one time, like, okay, story time, right? I don't know how all of y'all are finding these wonderful thrift stores with all the yarns and fibers and stuff, but the ones that are near around me do not have such luxuries. And I just, you know, my car's old, and so we don't really drive it super far if we don't have to, so it's like kind of exploring out and trying to find the places with the yarn in the thrift shop is kind of for me. But one time I did go to the local Goodwill and found these 2 balls of this vintage yarn, and I don't think it's objectively bad. I just haven't personally found a use for it. And it is an old Lion brand yarn that was like 50 cents. Oh my gosh. I think it's called Incredible. But anyway, it's a ribbon yarn and it's very pretty. I'm very positive when it comes to yarns. And I don't know if that's come across over the years, but I don't know what I would use this for. To this day, I have no clue. And I almost thought about doing something totally outside of knitting or crochet with this, because it is just a flat ribbon essentially. And so I was like, well, bookmarks maybe? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I just want to glue it into my hardback books or not, but something has to be done with this. I haven't found a reason to use it, and I don't think there's a date on it. Oh no, there is. 2017. So I've had this stuff since 2017 and have yet to find a purpose for it. Crazy, it predates the channel. But anyway, so yeah, those, I think what really makes a yarn in general bad is when collectively people can't fidget or work with it. So a lot of the really texturized art yarns with all the bedazzled ribbon features in it, it's kind of weird looking. I don't see a lot of people making with that kind of thing too often. Like I said, people were kind of ragging on eyelash yarns for a while there, and I feel like there was something else that people didn't like for a while, but I just never got around to playing with, so I had no opinion on it one way or the other. Don't know. But yeah, so that's my take. As long as it's not absolutely ridiculous in nature, I'll work with it. So there aren't many yarns that are on my bad list. And I haven't been on a yarn haul in over a year to even see if they've come out with anything else that's been atrocious. But y'all can let me know in the comments too. What are some of the worst yarns you've worked with, and why they were horrible. I think that was a really good question though, because some people have way more aches than I do, and I feel like I'm not that picky. Like I basically just go with the flow, especially considering that this craft is, well, it's a lot of things for me personally, but it's just a way to unwind and whatnot. So it's like, it seems kind of odd to get up in arms about something that's supposed to have you chilling out, you know? So I have pots for today. I have multiple. I decided to show off multiple today because, again, that long stretch, oh my gosh, guys, that was awful. That was so awful. And, you know, I went on a mini rant or mini tangent on Twitter, but I was also telling my grandma about it. I'm like, no, you know, medicine can be interesting. It can be great. And certainly some of it serves its purpose, but experiences like that, you know, going in for something that's relatively minor but agonizing in a way, and simply wanting an antibiotic because I like my left arm. I thought that, you know, that would be okay because most antibiotics are pretty innocuous and things like that. But I was telling my grandma, I'm like, you know, having an experience like that does not make me want to abandon my natural approach to things. Because, again, like I said on Twitter, I was like, I never got an adverse reaction like that to a plant that I've grown in my yard and take leaves off of and nibble on. Like, never. So, you know, I'm just a little more skeptical of that even. That's a shame. But anyway, I was going somewhere with that. Dang, now I don't remember what it was. Anyway, I don't know, maybe it was just to be careful no matter what you do. I don't know. And now that I've got all the strength back pretty much in my arm, I feel like crafting, so I don't know what I'm gonna get into, and I've been making myself purposefully not cast on anything, even though I got a basket over here where I want to cast on some miter squares for of course, a sweater. But I've refused to start it, so it's just gonna sit there for a minute. I know that I'll have some time to start something soon, but I really want to get through this sweater, and then I got to get into September's projects, which I think I will. Oh, I'll announce them soon. I'll announce them soon. That's kind of the fun of this, though, going through and picking out which of my designs I want to put out there for the members club every month. But if you guys have had a particular pattern of mine in mind that you've been wanting to make over the years or months or however long you've been following me, you can feel free to leave me a comment down below, send me an email, and I'll put that in queue to start doing the video process for the members club. I'm kind of feeling like my camera's a little crooked here, and everything's been crooked lately. Anyway, speaking of the members club, it's something that I'm really hoping takes off over the next several months, because I think that it'll be a really solid way to, well, support this channel and the content that I am putting out, but also I really want to see more people make my designs and whatnot. So over the years, I've always encouraged people to, like, hey, if you make this free pattern or you make this paid pattern, tag me in it. But I've had very few people to do that, and I know a lot, like, it's about a 50-50 chance that people are actually on social media and whatnot, so I get it. But it would totally make my day to be able to see the whip pictures and interact with people, and also get other sizing recommendations and whatnot. As I kind of stated in a previous channel chat, you know, there are ways to kind of work around sizing and things like that when it comes to wearables. But for the most part, when you design things, you mostly design things from your perspective. So a lot of my patterns are built out for an extra large, you know, with like a larger bust or something like that. But you know, to have people of different sizes making it and like seeing how that works out for them would be really interesting and helpful for me as well. So I really just hope that that's something that people will want to support. Hopefully they want to see me around for a while. I don't know. I know that I put out polls and whatnots and asking these different questions, and it's all on purpose, you know. So if I'm asking you guys, hey, do I bring value to your crafting life, or like, how much do you enjoy my content? Well, like, those are all parameters that I use to gauge whether or not I should, well, for one, keep making tutorials, but also like how I should expand my brand and things like that. Because, you know, sometimes it's really easy to get down in the dumps about this whole thing. I don't know what silly goose like started doing video things as a small business and decided to put out this pretext that, oh, this is easy. Like, yeah, sure, relative to, say, going out there and doing construction work, yes, it's quite cushy, but as far as the toll that it takes and all the things that you have to do to keep things maintained and going and constantly, you know, basically it's like art but high speed. You're constantly in competition with yourself, but subconsciously and a little bit externally you are also in competition with a bunch of other people. And so all of that to say, you know, when I do get down in the dumps about, well, everything else outside of YouTube as it pertains to Infiniti Crafting Co., I have to think that there is some value out there for some people, to the capacity where they would want to support my content, because every day that I log on to my channel on here on YouTube, every day I'm just growing exponentially, and it's great. Every day I log on and I'm like, oh, well, there's another 50 people, there's another 100 people, so like clearly there's something that I'm doing right. And so I go off of that performance as well, but I would also like to know what I'm doing wrong, in instances like as it goes for my pattern writing, or if as it pertains to my merch stuff or my pottery stuff, whatnot. Because, you know, and I have a video coming out, but anyway, it's very hard to reconcile the results of, hey, there's a lot of people gravitating towards your content, and hey, nobody's actually financially supporting your content. So like I'm trying to figure that out and sort that out and not be frustrated by it, but it's difficult. I don't know where I was going with that, but I do remember one point. It's just like being a creator is not just like a walk in the park, contrary to what most people believe. And I feel like I am digressing. I meant to get into the pots for the day, but all that to say is that I hope that as my content continues up until next May, then I hope that people will want to hop aboard and become members on my website, because to be honest, social media sucks. And one of the big reasons why and I guess I'll talk more about memberships later in the month, but one of the main reasons that I put it on my website instead of putting it on YouTube was because that the simple fact that it's a program that I'm trying to build out. I can choose what I can, for the most part, offer my audience that decides to subscribe, and I have the freedom to do that. So like on YouTube, I can't really build that out. I can't offer PDFs. I can't really offer any written things. And so the thing with that would have been, okay, how do I give people the written instructions? Because a lot of my videos that I record for these patterns, they go in tandem with the written instructions to kind of not only help people learn how to read patterns, but also to help out with the written pattern, because that's what I started specializing in first. To that end, I wanted to do it like that, and then it gives me the freedom to eventually branch out and be able to incorporate more things like a forum and things like that, because as it were on YouTube or on these different platforms, it's very difficult to build community in the first place. But I didn't really want people to sign up for a program and feel like they're just, you know, part of an echoey void or something like that. So for people to be able to interact with not only just me, but also one another as they, you know, discover my designs and I share my stuff out there, I thought that that would be a really great feature. And then on the flip side of that, putting it on my website will also help me to expand it later. On YouTube, they take a 30% cut, which is okay. They own the platform, that's good and fine. But and in the long run, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, which is why I do so many things that I do behind the scenes. But I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket by having my subscription service, my video servicing, and everything on one platform. Because, you know, between all the wonderful decisions from the top and the algorithm, they're whimsical and they're subject to change at the drop of a dime, and any of those changes could just have me just totally out of commission. Alright, I had a little bit of technical difficulty there. I have no idea at which point my camera started glitching out, but anywho, I was talking about my members club and the fact that I am developing it and I am enjoying going back and recording these tutorials as they are needed. Some of them were already recorded, which was a big help, especially for these first few months while I am getting used to being back in school and all the fun stuff. But it's something that I'm going to continue to bring up because I really think that it's something worthwhile and something that will eventually kick in to support Infiniti Crafting Co. fully. Because outside of the YouTube thing, believe it or not, YouTube is cool, don't get me wrong, but in the same token, and I think I have a video coming out that will talk about that a little bit, but in the same token with YouTube, I actually don't make a lot of money, and it's not so much that I would say that I was going for the money in the first place, but to be able to sustain oneself would be quite nice, and by that I mean making more than probably $2,000 a year would be great, because those are my ads, and I don't really like discussing the money part of it really, but I also thought at this point that I would be doing a lot better with the sales and stuff that I've been doing. So you guys know I do my own merch. I hand make all these pots and things like that for you guys, at your request actually, but I also do pattern design, and those things were always meant to come in and help build up the channel, not so much that the channel was meant to support all those things, but somehow over the years it has become that. And there are many reasons why I have built up my membership program the way that I have, which I'll probably talk about in a future channel chat this month, so stay tuned for that. But essentially, putting that program together and building it into my website gives me a lot of freedom, creative freedom, as far as what I'm able to offer and how I can dish it out to you guys. And then it gives me room to expand. It gives me room to expand because instead of hosting my subscription service and all my videos and stuff on one platform where they're taking fees out, I can at least offer this service on my website, and I take in all those fees, and it helps with the general ness of the studio, between the equipment, because I don't know what's up with my camera, but it also helps with designing stuff, and it helps me to like get by and live. So like I said in other videos, I've always found gratification through working with my hands and things, and as it were, I don't expect to work for free. Wait, that's not the way that's supposed to come out, but I don't expect to work for free. But also, I don't expect people to just like hand me money and stuff just because I exist. I like to think that I offer people value, and I think that was something else that I was talking about while my camera was not recording my face. It's kind of hard to find the connection there, because clearly there's something that I'm doing right between all my channels. Every day I log on, there's a higher number of people there, and therefore there are more people that I get to share my skills and hobbies with, and just build a general community with. But in the same token the financial side of that has been in the red for like the last 3 years, and it doesn't really give me hope for where Infiniti Crafting Co. is going, and I try not to be overall negative about it, but I feel that building things outside of just the tutorial platform and pushing that more than anything else will probably help. But we'll see on that. We'll see how that fleshes out over the next few months. But yeah, I'm sure in the future I will create a more convincing spiel about that. I had a whole thing. I had a whole conversation, probably 15 minutes of video just gone. But anyway, long story short of that is just that I hope that over time other people will see the value in what I'm doing, and hopefully will allow me to continue to show you guys what I know and create new patterns and designs and things like that. I did want to mention too that I got the Mountain Forager garden shrub knitting pattern done this month, and now that I am feeling more myself, I will be going in and finishing off the Genesis top for the program for the month of August, and then in September I'll figure out what we're going to do in September, but I kind of got an idea rolling in there already. If you've been following my pattern writing journey for any length of time and you want me to record a specific video for the members program and you're going to go sign up and things like that, shoot me an email, leave me a comment down below or something like that, and I will get around to that to make it part of the program. I have so many designs. Actually sitting back and going through all these designs and stuff and files, I'm like, oh my god, I was on a spree here. So it's exciting to revisit all of my precious children and recreate them in different ways. But alright, I'm gonna just show you guys the pots that I have laid out. I think I have 4 of them, and like I said, I meant to show this off Wednesday, but that was not possible for me, so here we go. I want to show these off in order, so there we go. Alright, this first one is Bree, and she came out of the wood firing actually. She's kind of orangey, but there's raw clay body at the bottom, and then some of this experimental glaze. I made a green glaze last year, and at times it turns out incredibly dark, but this time it turned out incredibly bright, and I was very shocked. And then the Jones blue on top of it came out a lot brighter than it normally would have as well. So this one's for crochet hooks, and she has an identical sister. Let me put the tag on this one, because I will get them mixed up as I did while I was going through trying to get the product pictures done. This one's Kelly, okay? They are similar, but they're not the same. Kelly got hit by the fire, so there's a lot of flashing and on her, and ash on her. She's shiny. So the difference is, right, when it comes to the fire hitting the clay body or any part of the piece, it will leave these singes of orange on the piece if it's a white clay body. However, if there's ash in it, it will create this gloss, this shine, almost as though there were glaze on it. There was no glaze on the bottom part of this. Like I said, I made them mildly identical. So this one was just in the line of fire, and this one was not. This one just got a little bit of the smoke in there. That's why it's a little orange. Kelly is a little more shallow. She has some external like trimming down here, more so than Kelly does, but she has the same coloration. So I wanted to play with dripping. It didn't really drip, but it did run a little bit. I wanted to play with the fluidity of the glaze a little bit in this firing, since it was a rare opportunity. And I wasn't disappointed. I did get similar color outcomes between these two, which was nice. Consistency is always nice. So that's something else I'm going to be playing with too. This go round is just consistency of form and consistency of glaze and how I can get it to flow, perhaps. Alright, now, let me see. That's day 14. Okay, this one is day 13. This one's actually a mug, okay? And I showed this one off actually doing a reel over on Instagram. I like it. I played with the hexagon handle. I like a good handle on my mugs where I can hold it like this or like this, just depending on how I'm feeling in the morning. But I like it. She's a shallow little stout thing. On this side is what she looks like, but then the rutile actually came through on this side, and I know it's bright, but all the pictures can be found on my website. I will leave that linked in the description box below. As always, the handmade shop is where you'll be able to find the pictures of all of these. Now, as far as mugs go, right, I feel like I've gotten better at making them, but in the same token, while I do think that I'll make some mugs, I don't want to make that the focus of my pottery as I offer it, because I feel like mugs are something that everybody offers, are kind of the go-to. And sure, I am a mug enthusiast. I have collected so many mugs, mugs that I don't drink out of, but I like them. And usually they're from like road trips or just something very novelty that I think is charming. And so I've collected them, but that's beside the point. I know they're popular, but I don't necessarily want to be a mug lady. I'd much rather make stuff for the craft room, and so I am looking forward to executing some of these recommendations that I've been getting in my emails that I've been kind of silent about, but nonetheless, love y'all for it. I just hope that I can flesh them out and execute them to you guys' expectations so that they don't sit in my studio for months on end looking for new homes. But yeah, so in the future, probably have more mugs in the shop, but that definitely won't be my main focus. Now, I am thinking of things in terms of what am I going to do when I graduate and I don't have access to that big studio anymore. I will be making some smaller things that I can manage here at home, and then I have to take them across town to get fired then. But, you know, we'll come to that bridge when we get to it. Each pot that finds its new home is a new camera battery for me, because I think these are just old. This one's the original to this camera, and she's testing me. But anyway, yeah, so we'll come to that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, blah blah blah. It always throws me off when this thing cuts out and I have to go change the battery. I don't know, my mind's all over the place. So anyway, mugs, maybe. There will be some, but that won't be my main priority. Let me see. I don't remember this other piece. I feel like it's another crochet hook holder. Alright, this one, yeah. This is Hannah. And she has some of the same coloring as Arabella. Now, Arabella had some really bold, I can't even describe it, but it was very bold coloring that came through on her. And these are actually cone 6 pieces. So these are like standard fires, but like I said, the glaze combination, this is another one of those airbrush pieces. And so I don't know why I made so many of the little like dainty cuts. I think they were kind of trending a little bit, but honestly, what was I gonna say about this? Oh yeah, this was, okay, so I tried to kind of recreate this, but not really recreate it. I wanted to see what would happen in a higher firing. So the blue, like, chemicals are weird, so the blue and the green here did not do what the blue and the green here did, but they're two different chemistries, and they're two different temperatures. One is a like fired to like 1800 degrees and one is fired to like 2000, so we're just gonna you know, chalk that up to difference of temperature. But nonetheless, these are all available on my website. I did all of those listings while I was recovering so that they could be out there for you guys. Now actually, I have not taken any more photos of pots. I have several over there, but there are about 5 of them that I won't be releasing yet. They won't be released until actually probably January of 2024. So those will just be teaser pieces, but I do have a few that I will be listing in the shop for now, which I will get to another day. Last month I put out a poll. Y'all asked me to put out a sale for this month, so I did, and you can still get that 15% off your entire purchase on my website with the code BTS23 at checkout. So if you've had your eye on something, please head over there and take it off my hands while this discount applies, because I will not be hosting another sale until November, and then after that all the sales are over until probably next November, to be honest. So now or never, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's channel chat. Thanks for joining me for the welcome back. I will have a channel chat up for tomorrow, and I will have tutorials up. I am currently slave driving my computer to render out as many videos as I can, because I was smart enough this year to record a lot of tutorials to have up. So hopefully I can kind of keep consistent on that. And anyway, till next time, guys, till tomorrow, happy making.